Hi, I'm John Kennedy, and today we're going to be looking at the iPad Air 2. Okay, the iPad Air 2 debuted 2 weeks ago from Cupertino, and it debuted alongside the iPad Mini 3. I have to say the iPad Air 2 is probably the most complete of the iPad family so far. It comes with the Retina display, it has Touch ID fingerprint recognition, and it comes with a really improved eyesight camera. So I have to say the technology is probably showing off everything Apple has achieved in the last 4 years since the first iPad introduced. The most impressive thing you will notice first of all about the iPad Air 2 is its screen. It's got 2048 by 1536 resolution. That gives you an amazing 3.1 million pixels, which is incredible. The screen itself is also coated in a special coating that is anti-reflective, so apparently it reduces glare by about 56%. The next thing you'll notice is Touch ID. Touch ID is Apple's fingerprint security technology. While you're setting it up, it'll ask to put your fingerprint in a number of different directions. It will record your fingerprint, and then you can use your fingerprint to pay for apps, just access the device, and a whole lot of other things. And one of the really cool things Apple has done recently has been to open up that developers can actually use Touch ID in their apps. So you won't have to go around foosting around trying to remember passwords or passphrases. So the eyesight camera, I think a lot of the capabilities that came with iOS 8, particularly when we saw it on our phones, really come to life on the new iPad Air 2. You have slow motion capabilities, you've got the ability to take photographs in burst mode. And you know what that really does, I think, is it really shows the technology. Like we kind of think when people try to take pictures with their tablet devices, it looks incongruous or it looks a bit uncool. But you know what Apple was saying about the screen of an iPad being probably the best viewfinder you'll find in the marketplace, it is also the best light box. So it also comes with really cool tools for editing as well. So you can edit brightness, black and white, color, contrast. Another good thing to notice about the iPad Air 2 and the burst mode is also the fact that each picture is analyzed by the device to basically present you with options to present the best photograph from whatever sequence you took them in. Really important intelligence going on behind the scene here. The other good thing is the ability to do slow motion capture. The device itself slows down to 120 frames per second, and the resolution goes down to about 720, I think. One of the things that makes the iPad Air 2 quite unique is that it's the first, I suppose, since the first iPad came along, the first iPad to actually have a chip made specifically for it. This is the A8X processor, and what this does is it's a 64-bit computing architecture that you would find in a desktop computer, but it's all crammed into an iPad. And the interesting thing as well is because the device is only like 6.1 millimeters thin and is very light. You know, they've made the battery about a third smaller than the previous battery that would have been in last year's Air. But to compensate for this, you have the chip, which basically gives you the ability to have up to 10 hours of battery life without actually losing any performance. So it's really quite an accomplishment. It also comes with the M8 Coprocessor, which takes into a lot of account things like gyroscopes, accelerometers and all that, which gives you quite an unparalleled experience when it comes to things like, you know, experiencing games, using maps, whatnot. It really just takes the device that step further, even takes into account your ascent as you climb stairs, for example. My overall verdict on the device is that it's probably the most perfect iPad Apple has ever produced. It's really hard to kind of really pinpoint anything that could be potentially wrong with it. It's beautifully designed, it's very light, very slim, and you know, if anything, the A8X processor has increased the processing power by up to 40%, making it a much more solid feeling device. It's faster, more versatile. The real challenge for Apple really after this is just how can you improve upon perfection. And I ultimately think the camera technology in it is unparalleled in a tablet device, and I think Apple has really gone the extra distance to put in some really tremendous photo editing tools. Apps like iMovie come for free, GarageBand. So you really have a whole entertainment productivity suite there that is just unparalleled. In terms of prices, the device starts at €509 for a 16 gig Wi-Fi only version, rising to 609 for a 64 gig version and 709 for a 128 gig version. For a version of the iPad Air 2 with Wi-Fi and cellular, prices start at 629 for a 16 gig version, 729 for a 64 gig version, and 829 including VAT for a 128 gig version. So there you have it, the iPad Air 2.